Hello, my crafty friends. Today I have 4 Thanksgiving cards to share today using a mix of both older products and new. Of course, my cards started with the pattern paper, and I didn't bring over the cover sheet because I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it. It's an older pad, not available any longer. I believe it was called Pumpkin Spice from Pink and Maine. So there were some paper strips in it, and I thought I'd have a look at it this year and just use some of those paper strips up. To be honest, now when I open a paper pad, particularly a 6x6 paper pad, I just look at the potential for making birthday cards and using the August 2023 sheet load of cards. Hands down, my favorite sketch. And so I did use a bunch of the strips that were in there to make some more kind of masculine birthday cards that I won't be sharing for a while. But there were some leftover strips in there. And so I decided to go ahead and make my cards. Now these cards are sized 4x6, and there are envelopes. I think they're an A4 envelope, but it's a size that I make quite often, so I do have a lot of envelopes for them. I used washi tape on all of the envelope flaps. And here's the washi tape here. I just got it on Amazon. I showed it on another video. There was a package of, I think, 10 of them. And I just love it, and it's working really well. Now I do find washi tape can lift, particularly going through the mail. So I take my strip and I lay it across. I always tear it larger than the area that I need to cover. So it's hanging over the edge, and then I peel back the edge and add just a little bit of wet glue along those edges. Press the washi tape into that glue, use scissors to trim it off, and now those ends will not lift. It doesn't tend to lift in the middle, it will peel on the edges. Washi tape is not really permanent, which is why we can use it to hold our dies down when we're die cutting. But if you put a little bit of glue on the edges, it doesn't lift going through the mail. So all of my envelopes have got washi tape on the flap and then a sticker on the front, and those stickers are just from my stash. I've had them for many years. I'm trying to use them up this year, and then of course I can put the address on the envelope. So after I figured out the papers and I was going to use paper strips, I got the card fronts done, but just the pattern papers on, and then I had to decide what I was going to do with them. So I'm looking at them and I thought, I'm going to try a pop-up. So the pattern paper was older, but I wanted to try the new Twist Flower Pop-Up by Burniston. So that is, let me see here, this is it here. And I just used the mechanism on it. And it's sized it can fit in a 3.5 inch. This is a slimline card, so a 3.5 inch width. So I knew it would work in the 4-inch width. So that is what I used for the mechanism. And now the tree with this on the scalloped, I am embarrassed to tell you that I probably had those in my stash, done, ready to assemble onto cards for at least 10 years. I have no excuse. This was a punch, possibly Stampin' Up. I had it punched and adhered to a circle, probably also punched. I'm thinking even this scallop was punched, although I had a quick look through my punches and I didn't see one that big. So it is possible that it was an old Spellbinders die, which I still have all of my original flat basic shape dies. But they were in an envelope in a box. So I have like a large shoe box, and in that I have all of my Thanksgiving and Halloween embellishments, stickers, confetti. The washi tape will go in there. And if I say made 6 of these trees and I only used 4 on my cards, 2 would end up going in a baggie in that box. So I pulled this out, and every year I pull it out. So there was, I think, 6 of these trees already done, already assembled, like ready to just put some foam tape on it and attach it to a card front. There were card panels, again, with the basic gray patterned paper. And every year I would get it out and go, no, and put it back in the box. So this year, no, I was going to either use them or toss them. I thought they were kind of cute, so I decided to use them, and they work absolutely perfectly on that Twist Flower Pop-Up. But this Twist Flower Pop-Up honestly could be my new favorite die by Burniston. So as I said, I had the pattern papers on. I cut out my 4 mechanisms. I knew I would put these on the mechanisms, but there was another strip of this striped pattern paper. So I cut it down and added it to a white panel. I like my cards sturdy, and the front has got layers, but the back doesn't. So it feels not very balanced in my hand. So that's why quite often I will add a panel inside just to balance the weight in my hand. So I added that paper strip to the inside of the cards, and then I adhered my mechanism and adhered this. So, okay, now I've got my decoration. What the heck am I going to do on the front? And I remembered that some of the older dies by Karen Burniston. So the tree comes from the tree pop-up, and there's also a set of leaves. So I cut my 4 trees from a craft cardstock. There wasn't enough contrast. I didn't want to do them out of just a plain brown. So I took some Catherine Pooler inks, I smooshed them on my glass mat, spritzed them with water, and then dipped and dragged my trees that were already die cut through the puddles of ink, and then set them aside to dry. I tried flicking them with like a glitter mix from Lawn Fawn. I think it's Stardust. I'll have it linked on my blog anyhow. And so I got some watermarks on them, but I really like the variation in the trees. So let those dry. I knew I could just attach them to the front of my cards. And then I knew I wanted a pumpkin as well. So that was from Karen's Halloween Elements. So here's the pumpkin here. And there's also a face. So you can die cut the pumpkin from black, and then you can die cut it again from orange, cutting the face out. And when you layer them together, the black from the back pumpkin shines through the opening in the face. But I just used the pumpkin for that. And then in the haunted tiny house add-ons, there's a little tiny pumpkin, and it works almost the same, and then a little vine, and so I use those on the inside. So the tree on the front has a pumpkin, and the tree inside has a pumpkin, and I used the same vine on both. The pumpkins, I die cut them, and then I just did some flicking with an alcohol marker. And the sentiment, Happy Thanksgiving, is from Colorado Craft Company, and it's the Truly Thankful. I had invested in a couple of Thanksgiving sets this year. I haven't bought new Thanksgiving like word sets in at least 5 years, so I bought 3 of them, and here are 2, and I used both of them on my cards. So this one is the Give Thanks Sentiments by Catherine Pooler. So the Happy Thanksgiving on the front, I put it on a strip of white paper and added that, and now my fronts were done. But all I had on the inside was the tree. So then I stamped the Be Thankful Always, and I had a little smudge here. So that's where those leaves came in. I just added 3 of them to that. Then when I was finished, the left side just looked really kind of blah. And I could have left it, but I added the thinking of you. So those are my cards. I love how they pop up, and they're each a little bit different. And then on these ones, the brown was just not quite... Let me move the envelope here. The brown with the florals, the trees really did not stand up enough. So I cut a vellum circle using the largest circle from the double stitched circles by Divinity Designs. So it does have a nice little stitched edge on the vellum. And then I glued my tree to the vellum, and then when I turned it over, I could see, of course, the outline of the tree, and that's where I added the glue in behind. So it doesn't show up anywhere. There's no glue smudges, but it's secure onto the card. A little bit of Wink Estella on the pumpkins, both on the front and on the one inside. And that was it for the cards. They did not take very long, and that's one of the things I really like about this die set. So probably my most used Karen Burniston die would be the Catherine label pop-up, and I use that so often because it is quick and easy, and you can animate all kinds of things. So I think this is going to be along the same lines. You only have to be careful that what you add on is going to stay within the confines of the card. And you can see this comes very, very close to the edge. It couldn't have been any larger, or it wouldn't have fit on. Maybe if I moved it down a little bit, but really that's about the size of what I could fit on. But for a 4x6 card with that kind of a cute little pop-up, I'm quite happy with how my cards turned out. And I used up a bunch of that pattern paper from the package. And I'm thinking that when I did the birthday cards, I ended up finishing off the package and got rid of the cover sheet because they were all done. So yay for using up patterned paper, and I'm probably good for my Thanksgiving cards now. I'm filming this on September 21st. I'm not sure when it will end up getting posted on my blog and on YouTube, but I had made a note that I needed a whole bunch of Thanksgiving cards. I send out about 20, not only for our Canadian Thanksgiving, but we have friends and family in the US, and I send out Thanksgiving cards in November to them. And as I said, I had made a note that my Thanksgiving stash was getting pretty dire. So if they don't end up getting used this year, I can save them for next year. If you enjoyed my video today, please hit that like button, subscribe to see more, and that's it for me today.